So I have a question for all the Crazy Ant followers out there and ItCalf listeners. Do you guys like puppies?
Roof, roof.
Or some kittens? Some little meow meow? I mean, because we got the one and only Chad Atkins coming on the show to talk about his non-profit Paul Works.
I'm excited about it.
I'm so super excited. It's
it's-
so different than what we've ever done before.
It's totally different from anything we've ever done before, and yet still one of the more entertaining interviews
Yeah.
that we've had. And the guy even gives you a tidbit. He even throws out some celebrity gossip and news.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I just really fun. But all kidding aside, guys, the importance of what he has to say about taking care of pets and helping the overcrowded population of animals and different things. It's a really great interview. You guys
It is.
definitely don't want to miss it.
It's honestly one of my favorites, and I'm super excited for everyone to listen. But that is later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly! We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of shit going down. Breaking news. We're going to get to that. But yeah,
So excited about the breaking news.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Jerry Ying, are you paying attention, my man?
Right.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Oh my goodness. But you guys know it's episode 126 this week.
Man.
Oh my goodness. It's insane. I'm happy to be back with my host, my fellow co-host here, the mouth, one and only.
What's up?
That's right, myself, J-Lo Fantastic. You know what it is. And then, of course, we're talking industry news. I mean, everybody knows that Jam Master Jay got murdered, unsolved. Well, now there's some indictments, guys. There's some indictments. But, of course, we've got Disney, streaming services, Warner Media, all this good stuff. A lot of superhero stuff,
so
too.
So much Batman news dropped this week, guys.
It's exciting.
And we've got it all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And of course, before we get this thing started, you guys know where you can shop for the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear on crazyantmedia.com. So much amazing things up there right now. Be sure to head over there and get them while you can.
Yes.
Because they're going quick. They're going quick.
Yes.
Now, I mean, breaking news. Fuck it. Let's start with it.
Woohoo!
The bitch, Aunt Becky.
Yes, Aunt Becky going to the clinker.
Finally.
She's going to jail.
Yeah, buddy.
That's right. Sentencing happened today, and we are excited because Aunt Becky, and boy, if you guys could see the picture that we have, and we will be posting it, she is not happy.
Oh, no, she's
Aunt
not.
Becky is going to jail. Lori Loughlin, guys, and her husband were sentenced today for their part in the college school bribery scandal.
Yeah.
And in fixing their daughters and admissions to USC. And woo, she was not happy. She was just sentenced right before we started recording, and her husband was sentenced this morning, and the judge threw the maximum at them for their plea deal. Remember, we told you a couple weeks ago they had finally pled and said they were guilty, and apparently even the plea deal was kind of lenient in our opinion, but they were still trying to get that shit reduced, and the judge was having no part of it. Lori was sentenced to 2 months in jail. Yeah, not 2 weeks like Felicity Huffman.
No.
2 months in jail, of which she was trying to get out of, and the judge was saying, nope, 2 months. The husband got 5 months in jail, and not just jail, guys. They're going to federal prison. Like, not the country clubs.
No.
Like, federal prison, okay? They're going to prison. Lori Loughlin going to be that, orange is the new black jumpsuit. Like, it's going to be really good.
With, like, murderers and shit. Like.
And then, here's my best part, and I'm going to be reading this because I want to get it exactly right. But apparently, she finally, guys, Aunt Becky finally tried to show some remorse. She was even a little crying, wiping, like, the little tears from her face. And this is what she said, guys. Apparently, she said to the judge that she thought she was helping her daughters out of love, but she came to understand that she broke the law and was complicit in widening the inequalities both in the country's educational system and society as whole, and that realization weighs heavily on her as she was wiping the tears from her face. Now, the judge said that while he thought that was genuine, he didn't care. He went on to say, and this is my favorite part, he turned to her and said, okay, I think your apology is genuine, but As an admired, successful, professional actor with 2 healthy children, a long-standing marriage, and more money than you could possibly need, you stand before me a convicted felon. And for what? For the inexplicable desire to have even more? And then he went on and said, "We can only hope you will spend the rest of your charmed life, as you've said you will, making amends to the system and the people that you have harmed." Yes!
Fucking.
That judge was like having none of that
No.
shit. He's like, clink, boom!
It's like, even if you do realize now, it's a little too late.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Fuck you, Aunt Becky!
I'm happy about this.
Me
I'm happy
too.
about this. I mean, of course, like, if that was a normal person, it would have been more than 2
it'd be
months.
years. It
Yeah.
would be like, and I'm hoping though that it's just still the full 60 days.
Yeah.
Like, remember Felicity Huffman got like 2 weeks, and she actually only ended up spending a couple of days in jail
Yeah.
for time off for good behavior. But I don't think Lori or her husband, they were trying to deny it all the way up till
whole
the very
time.
last second, and they were not remorse at all. And while the judge might have bought that shit, I don't think she was genuine at all.
No.
I think that was still trying to get out of that 2 months in jail. So I don't want that good behavior bullshit.
No.
All 60 days in jail. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If Aunt Becky gets out anything less than 60 days, I call bullshit, man.
I mean,
It just...
definitely make me question the judicial system and just the system in general. Like,
Yes.
after that, I mean, it just shows that fucking, if you have money, you're somebody and you can work the system.
That's right. And right. There are people
That's what
in
it
jail
is.
for like 10 years
Yeah.
for crimes far less than
Exactly.
what she did.
Exactly.
And so, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
2020 Biden.
Right? 2020 Biden.
Remember Aunt Becky in November, okay?
Exactly.
The judicial system needs some work. That's all I'm saying. All right.
But yes, just wanted to break that news right here on Inside the Crazy Ant Farm,
Yes.
because you guys know we've been talking about it a lot. Every step of the way, we've been talking about that shit, and finally getting sentenced.
We're going to have a party afterwards.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna,
you know, tequila shots.
That's
and
right.
everything.
Aunt
It'd be
Becky
great.
Clinker party. It's going to be great.
Yes,
All right.
but like I teased a little bit earlier, Run DMC's Jam Master Jay, the DJ, his murder was going unsolved for like, what, 19, 20 years or some stupid shit?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But apparently, somebody that was initially considered a suspect way back in the day has finally been arrested.
Yeah.
Well, we should say charged, because he's
Charged,
actually
yeah.
in jail already on another, because that's how great a person he is.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, fucking the rap game and the streets are, like, very parallel, so this is even more fact right here.
Exactly. So you might remember the name, right? So Ronald Washington and Carl Jordan Jr., they were indicted on the charges of murder while engaged in drug trafficking. Apparently, this was a drug deal that Jay was trying to do, and they felt he was backstabbing them or not doing the deal with them, and that's why they murdered him. That's the theory anyway. It says Jay, and we're talking about, Run DMC's Jay, whose real name was Jason Mizell. Apparently, they're claiming that he excluded the two guys from a multi-state drug deal, and then they retaliated by conspiring to murder and kill him.
And what's crazy to me is one of these guys was literally staying in his house.
Yeah.
Like, fucking that close to him, that much of a friend, but was literally staying in his house and fucking killed him.
And what's crazy is that, the other two members of Run DMC and Jay's family and everybody tried to warn him. This guy's a piece of shit. Why are we taking him into the house? Why are you doing this stuff? You shouldn't be involved with this guy. They tried to warn him, and yet there it was. So he is the one, we're talking about Washington. He's currently serving a federal prison sentence stemming from a string of robberies that he committed while he was on the run after being questioned about Jay's death.
What the fuck?
So the other guy was picked up and apprehended and now in custody as well. But so, like, he was a person of interest. They questioned him, and then he took off.
Yeah.
That should have said right there, that's
Shady
your
business,
guy.
Shady business right there.
But-
Like, what the fuck? That's
Anyway.
insane. That's insane. But I'm happy that they're starting this process. Now let's catch Biggie and Tupac's fucking killers. If they are not dead, who knows?
That's right.
They could be in Cuba. We don't know.
We don't know.
But yeah, it's just, I'm happy to see something like this because it brings justice to their family and brings closure, really. I mean, so they can figure it all out.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter how many
No.
years, how many,
The
you're
Golden
going to get caught.
The Golden State serial killer. Like, that shit was in the 70s.
Exactly.
Like,
That man was 80-some years old. They got him.
he was like, let me take out my, what was it, roast beef, or like, he was cooking a pot roast or some shit. Let me take this
true.
out of the oven.
That's
like,
true.
Okay,
You
all
do something
right.
stupid, you're going to get caught.
Exactly.
All right? All right.
That's the moral of the story.
And I'm excited because we're going to be able to watch Washington and this other guy and the whole story about Run DMC, on Forensic Files in about a year.
Yeah,
it's going to be
right.
great.
Like, oh
how'd
my
they get him? It was some cloth
Yeah.
on his shoe or something. I don't know, but it's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. Now you guys know we love the Mouse House. Starting with it, Disney, the Walt Disney Company, has reinstated executive salaries for most of those who are impacted by the temporary cuts because of COVID-19. This makes sense because, I mean, a lot of people, businesses themselves were just trying to stay afloat, and they were trying to keep people afloat as much as possible. But this was a crazy thing to me. Bob Chapek, you guys know, the new CEO, had to take a 50% salary cut.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, and most of the vice presidents in the company took 25% cuts. Now, this is good news for them.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
But I'm hoping that we follow this up on next week's show, that all of the employees that were either furloughed or laid off or cut or something are also going to get their job back, or get, because if you're going to give yourself your full salary back but not bring back a furloughed employee, then to me that's a problem.
I agree.
So but good news for them. And Bob Iger, you are the man, okay?
He was
because
like-
guys, Iger has refused to take his salary
Yeah.
back. He gave up the salary during all of this, said he would not take a salary, and is not going to take a salary, even though they've reinstated all of this.
This is why he's my favorite, Bob.
Yeah,
That's right. I'm just saying.
When you have Bob squared, you have to pick a favorite.
You do.
And Iger is the one.
I like the one with hair. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Bob Alpha Bob. He is my favorite. I will just say, he just seems like such a good dude.
He's really a good dude. He's really a good dude. We cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, but that's good things. That's good things, especially trying to get back on their feet after this pandemic.
That's right.
And I mean, more exciting things happening at Disney. Disney Plus has announced a new original series, The Right Stuff, will debut with a 2-episode premiere on October 9th, and it's based on a book by the same name by Tom Wolfe.
Yeah. And based on the movie, The Right Stuff, we've been talking about this one for a couple of months now, but we couldn't get a date. When's it coming? When's it coming? It was supposed to be on Nat Geo, but then the whole Disney Plus thing. Now Nat Geo's on Disney Plus, so it's like, when is it coming? Now we know.
Exactly.
Now we know.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about on ItCaf behind the scenes and on last week's show, they are definitely lacking in the original programming part, and they're focusing. I mean, maybe we talked too soon. Me personally, I probably talked too soon.
No, but it's okay.
But I mean, we're just reporting on what we see at the moment, and I'm happy to see this though. I mean, I have no doubt because it's Disney. We love Disney,
and it's Patrick J. Adams.
Yeah, right.
Patrick J. Adams is the star of it, guys. And man, check out the trailer because the trailer was intense. It looks really good. I mean, I loved the movie, so I think this is going to do really well.
Yeah.
And if you needed any other reason to watch it more than Patrick J. Adams, Danny Strong's in it.
Oh boy,
our buddy Danny Strong is in it.
He got invited.
That's right. That's right. He got invited to that one. Well, he's still waiting on that phone call for Batman, but he got invited to The Right Stuff, and so super excited about that one.
Oh my goodness! And with everything changing in today's climate and the entertainment industry, it's only right that the Disney Channel is also changing while everything else is changing. They announced a animated series, The Owl House, and this is historic, guys, because it's going to be Disney's first bisexual lead character.
Yeah, Luz Nocetta, a 14-year-old that she's like the lead in the show. She's been shown in past episodes to be attracted to males, have little crushes on boys and everything. But apparently, in the past couple of episodes now, they have gone with a storyline where she has developed feelings and or showed feelings towards a girl.
Yeah.
And this is exciting because Disney had long been, I guess the villain in the story, or had this stigma that they weren't diversified, they weren't inclusive. And we know that Iger has been making a strong stand against that and has really been trying to make changes and pushes, and I'm sure Chapek will continue that.
Oh, yeah.
And this just shows, because Well, and let me see. I want to get this right too. The series creator said in development, she was very open about her intention to put queer kids in the main cast because she's queer herself and wanted to write about it. And she was, when the series was greenlit, she admits she was told by Disney leadership that she could not represent any form of bi or gay relationships on the channel.
Yeah.
She said luckily her stubbornness paid off, and now she's very supported by the Disney leadership. So, like I said, I think that probably she's talking about leadership at the Disney Channel, not, but I think maybe that's a situation where Iger started, from the top down cleaning.
Exactly.
Going, hey, this isn't right. Yes, you are going to allow this, and we are going to do this.
Exactly, and I mean, I only hope for the best for that one, but I mean, always you gotta think the worst about things. I think it's just the change of the climate. Honestly, like, oh, that's cool now, so we're gonna do that as well. But I'm just glad that these stories are being told because there's so many kids that are going through life as we know it that are confused about things and don't want to talk about it because they feel ashamed of it or they feel like other people will be disappointed somehow. And that's just not, be who you are, however you identify or however you want to love. Like, that is your decision, and everybody should be behind you. So I'm glad Disney is making this move.
Yeah, and to show that they're continuing that move and that they're serious about inclusiveness and doing this, Disney Channel, and this is an appropriate story, Disney Channel has promoted Teresa Helmer to the newly created role of Executive Director, Integrated Content Strategy and Development. They did this for the sole reason of her to accelerate racial and cultural diversity and inclusion in creative content for the global audience for young children between the ages of 2 and 14.
There we go.
So if you're going to come out and say, okay, these couple episodes are making history, now they're cementing it by saying, and we're going to put somebody in charge that's going to continue that history.
Exactly.
So, good. I'm so, like you said, I think you nailed it perfectly. So good for her. I think she's going to continue that. I think we're going to see more of it. And kudos to Disney for making the move because I think it's the right thing to do.
And especially if you introduce it like kids age 2 through 14. If you introduce it at a young age, it won't be taboo. It won't be something that somebody has to question, or they can get the questions out early so they have the knowledge to be able to go through life. And I just think that's a very smart move. They're making big moves, man.
Yeah, huge moves. Huge moves. Remember last week when we talked about they changed the branding to ABC Signature?
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
It's like...
Me too. Well, now they have somebody in charge of the signature.
There we go.
It's not John Hancock. It's not John.
No.
Susan Lewis is joining ABC Signature as a new senior vice president and head of drama development. Hey, Susan, we got a project.
Hey,
woo! Hey, okay, all right. Lewis most recently worked at Starz Entertainment, where she was the senior vice president of original programming.
Nice.
So, this is a nice move. I mean, you see the stuff they've got on Starz, right? They had some great original content and big stuff on Starz. Yeah. So this is an exciting move. And again, I feel like gonna do inclusivity and diversity, and Disney's just kicking ass making these moves, man.
They are. And but with the next one, I'm kind of not surprised since she's the new host of Dancing with the Stars.
I think maybe this was part of that deal.
think so too. I'm for sure. Hey, could you do this?
I'm just betting. We were wondering why Tyra Banks. Now we know, I think, right?
She has signed a first look deal with Disney Television's ABC Signature and will focus her efforts on producing scripted programming with ABC Signature and unscripted content with ABC Entertainment. That's super exciting. Banks' all-woman production company, Bankable Productions, has developed a slate of original ideas and existing IP in scripted comedy, drama, and unscripted content. So they're everywhere, guys.
Yeah, rumor has it her company's got like over 100 already developed projects.
Holy shit!
Like in the can and like getting ready to,
they sound like us.
Yeah, I mean, Tyra busy, and kudos Tyra, all woman.
It's right.
Production company.
Yeah,
you heard that right. So good for you, girl. You
I
keep
like
going.
The name too, Bankable.
Bankable.
She's
She's smart.
She's
smart. Now, do you have any idea, maybe what the other than Lucifer dropping today? Woo! Because I'm so excited about that. But do you have any idea what maybe like little event going on that could be consuming everybody's weekend?
DC fandom.
Yeah, I think so.
that
little thing. Have you heard about it?
You know, I'm super freaking pumped.
Oh my gosh, yes. And now, if you were worried, guys, that you weren't going to be like, how do we get all of that in 24 hours? Right now, you don't have to worry. DC fandom announced that they're splitting it up. You're going to get it tomorrow, right? 24 hours jam-packed tomorrow, and then again on September 12th.
That's great.
You're going to get a second one. So, because they were worried, apparently they started to realize, damn, we got a shit ton
It's a lot of stuff.
and how are they going to see it? And we want them to see it all. So now that was their solution. So we want to make sure we get this completely right for you all. The change will allow you to be able to experience all of it over the 2 weekend dates, okay? And tomorrow's event is going to focus on the Hall of Heroes section. So if you guys remember the schedule and you broke down the schedule, the Hall of Heroes is all the movie shit. Zack Snyder's the teaser trailer for Justice League, his the Snyder cut, Wonder Woman, the Batman, Shazam, Aquaman 2, all of the movies that you were dying to get all the shit for, right? The Batman, hopefully Zoe Kravitz in the Catwoman suit, right? Like all this awesome mega stuff. And did you guys see the fucking new Batman logo in that? Oh my God, so good, so good. We're gonna be talking all about Batman here in a minute, but all of that is going to be tomorrow. So that's all going to be planned out for tomorrow. All of the television events like Doom Patrol and all of the DC Universe, Arrowverse, the CW, what's coming up on HBO Max with the Green Lantern series, all that kind of stuff, that's going to be on September 12th. And that's going to kind of be an interactive where you can choose how you want to watch it and when you want to watch it, as opposed to tomorrow that's going to be laid out on a schedule, right? Starting with Wonder Woman and ending with, where they go with that. Here's the shocker, though. A lot of people were surprised. The big surprise is that they announced for the Heroes section is that Titans is going to be over here in the Heroes, the Hall of Heroes, and so is CW's Flash. What I don't know what that means, but we've got our Batman news. Some of our Batman news is talking about the Flash movie, and I think maybe the Titans move and the CW Flash move to the Hall of Heroes movie stuff could have something to do with the Flash movie. So we already saw Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller show up in Crisis.
Exactly.
Right? So I think maybe that's going to continue in the Flash movie, and maybe they're going to incorporate Titans into it. I mean, you and I were talking about this the other day, like where we feel like if there's any of the DC Universe shows that could fit right into the DCEU in that, multiple timeline type thing, it's Titans.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, this is exciting.
Yeah, I feel like that would be something they would have a leg up on Marvel for, because that would be a huge crossover between television and film.
Yes.
So, because we've talked about it all the time, their adaptation of the characters on the television side, especially the CW, is just brilliant, and especially their new stuff with Doom Patrol and Titans. So if those could have crossovers, that'd be so badass.
It would be absolutely. Can you imagine Leslie Connor's Wonder Girl, Donna Troy, with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, or Brenton Thwaites' Dick Grayson in the DCEU fighting Joe Magniola's Deathstroke? Right. Are you fucking kidding me? God. That would be so badass to see that happen. And we all love Grant Gustin. That little team up just in Crisis was awesome.
Exactly.
So, there is one sliver of bad news. The big, super, most talked about surprise DC film and panel that they were going to have apparently now is nowhere on the schedule. Not tomorrow or September 12th. So what that means about what that surprise project was, or why it's not on, we don't know. I guess we're going to have to just keep following that. So, I don't know. I saw it slip off the schedule completely, and it was confirmed today that it is not scheduled for either weekend. So, I don't know.
That's interesting, man. That's really interesting. But another thing that's really interesting, and I'm by far really fucking surprised about, because it was a dark thing that he had to do, Ben Affleck is going to come back as Batman.
Yes.
In the Flash movie.
Yes.
Which means Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's definitely Flashpoint.
It has to be.
And you know how we know that for sure? Because the director, Andy Muschietti, also confirmed that Keaton is indeed confirmed and coming there. Also. So both Batmans.
Yeah.
Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman confirmed by the Flash director himself. Here's the great thing. He said both Batmans play a pivotal and substantial role in the film. And then he even broke it down a little further, guys. He said that Affleck's Batman is going to go the emotional route and kick off the movie because they're going to touch on the storyline that Barry and Bruce actually have far more in common than initially thought, where they both lost their mother.
Oh, shit.
And you know, in the loss of the parent, and then that kind of forcing them into the life that they have and what they've become and the different things. And that whole emotional connection, I guess, is going to be used to set up the whole Flashpoint storyline and send it up.
Yeah.
So basically, the DCEU's Batman, Ben Affleck, is like the fatherly figure that's going to kind of kick off the whole emotional trajectory of the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And then Keaton's Batman will be in the Flashpoint history line of different alternate versions of the characters.
Yeah, because we saw a rumor over this past week that it's going to... Affleck is really going to be more like a cameo role, and fucking Keaton's going to be more like a huge supporting role.
Right. So, but at least now we know it's a little bit more substantial than cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he's going to be like this fatherly guiding force of, you know, so that's cool.
I'm just excited to see Keaton back in the suit.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see Keaton back in the suit. And it all but begs to question now, will we or will we not see Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Batman in this story? They introduced him in the DCEU as Thomas Wayne, and we all know in an alternate version of Flashpoint, he's Batman.
Exactly.
So, and he's a badass Batman. So, will that happen? Will that not happen? We don't know, but it works. I'm excited as hell about it. I just think Flashpoint is going to be badass.
Hell yeah. More things to be excited about for Batman. The newest adaptation, The Batman, will resume shooting in early September in the UK, guys.
Yes!
Finally. Theaters are starting to open up. Things are getting back to work. And I mean, they keep releasing stuff, like you said, that new concept art kind of, and I was just like, oh, I mean, it's all but said that it's basically kind of like Kevin Smith's story because of the gun in the bat symbol on his chest. So I'm really excited to see just the story. Honestly, who's actually gonna be the villain? Like who's gonna play more of a part? Because like there's so many different characters that are gonna be introduced in like year 1, year 2 Batman. So I'm intrigued.
I am too, and like every time I see any of the visuals coming out of this thing, and apparently we're gonna see some either footage and or trailer tomorrow, so super pumped about that. But every time I see it, I'm just so excited because it looks like it is so grounded in reality and so grounded in this like utilitarian type, kind of a thing. I just think. And we know it's going to be a story-driven Batman film.
Exactly.
It's more about him coming into his own detective skills and trying to figure out these crimes as opposed to bashing bad guys, So super excited about it. I just think everything about this sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And so, man, can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is I hope this is not the Batman version of Superman Returns, how that was more story-driven and things like that. So, I'm just saying. Love Brendan Ralph, but,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
That was a bad movie.
We have seen motorcycle chases in a badass muscle Batman car, though, so
I
feel like we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be okay.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not shooting those darts at, like, a wall.
No.
I don't know. I'm just saying. And I guess the other Batman granddaddy, right? Like not Tim Burton, because Tim Burton's my Batman, like, badass, but Nolan. And you know what we're talking about with Nolan. Yeah,
of course. I mean, fucking Tenet. They started advanced ticket sales today for the 3-day sneak previews for Monday, August 31st. And tickets for the regular engagements will start Thursday, September 3rd, and will be available Thursday, August 27th. We'll see, man. We'll see. And even, this is crazy, because Warner Brothers made, like, the exhibitors and the theaters, like, sign a contract, basically, where they can have, like, one showing per night, no earlier than 5 p.m., and those theaters that will screen the premium formats may offer a second show. To participate, the theaters must agree not to follow not only the local laws, they have to follow the laws.
Exactly.
But also comply with safety standards drafted in effect by the National Association of Theater Owners, and these include wearing face masks anywhere in the theater with expectations of consuming the accessions. I mean, of course, and then, of course, like the spacing. Something like maybe 2 seats apart, 3 seats apart, something like that. Yep. So It's finally going to be seen, guys. It's finally going to be seen.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I feel so bad for Christopher Nolan.
I do too, man. But good for him that it's at least getting that theatrical release. Even if people see it for like a couple days and then a COVID breakout happens and they shut them all back down again,
right?
At least for a couple of days, he'll get his movie in the theater.
Exactly.
So I just don't know. I know Emily, Lil Cam herself, is super pumped about this one.
Yeah.
Everybody in the Supernatural family, we are.
Yes.
We're all super pumped because we were all wondering, when is it going? Are they just going to shorten it? Is what we saw the end? They wouldn't possibly do that to us, right? They couldn't do that to us. They're not.
They're not.
They're back in production. They are underway. They are shooting the final 7 episodes. Yeah, guys, you heard that right. Unfortunately, only 7 episodes left. The first of the long-running show's final episodes will be October 8th at 8 p.m., and then the series finale will air on November 19th. So there you go, guys. You've got from October 8th till November 19th for the final 7 episodes of Supernatural.
It's rough, man.
It's literally been on so long. So long. It's going to be weird to not have Supernatural like a part of the story, a part of the mainstay.
Exactly.
It's going to be weird.
Exactly. And to tease something else a little bit later on the show, what are the boys going to do? Or at least Jensen.
That's right.
We'll be talking about it.
That's right. He's not headed to Texas.
He's not.
Even though that's where he's from.
Exactly.
We'll talk about it.
You know. But Kevin Smith's Clerk is headed to HBO Max.
Yes!
Starting September 1st. The directors of Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan's comedy Cop Out.
Whoa!
Rock Out with your cock out. Is also hitting the streaming site that day, which is funny because he absolutely hates that movie, and his experience was Bruce Willis was absolutely atrocious.
Right. So the irony of when the one that's most dear to his heart, and then the one he hates the most are both showing up. But it's how the world works.
It really is. You gotta play the game.
We called this. We were wondering how DC fandom was going to go down between Ray Fisher and Jeff Johns, and would that be contentious, and how would that go down? Well, Warner Media has launched an investigation into Justice League. The decision comes after repeated public statements by Ray Fisher alleging misconduct by Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns and John Berg while making the film. No specific timeline for how long this investigation is going to be, or no findings yet. They also said in order to preserve the investigation and the integrity of the investigation, they will not be conducting this in the public limelight. So I don't guess we're going to hear anything until something comes out with the results. Yeah. I'm really curious about this one because we've kind of been seeing other things about Whedon, right? But not so much about Johns. It's mostly Ray Fisher coming at Johns. But guys, Jeff Johns is like in full out control of the DC television side right now.
Yeah.
Behind Stargirl and really collaborating with Greg Berlanti on all these different things. He's playing a major part in all the shows that are coming to the DC universe, HBO Max side of it. So if something develops through this investigation and he does have some shit going down, what does that mean for all of that?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on, because he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly, and who takes that role?
Exactly.
If he leaves, if he gets booted, who takes that role?
And that would be unfortunate because, Berlanti's already had to deal with losing one showrunner to a similar situation, a workplace harassment thing and some misconduct. And so it would really just kind of be crushing to him to have to go through it again. So I don't know, man.
Insane. What's more insane is the fucking crazy shit that's happening on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And it has fired several of its executive producers following the investigation into the allegations of the toxic workplace.
Yep.
Ed Galvin and Kevin Lehman, who also served as co-executive producer with Jonathan Norman, all gone.
Yep. Out of there.
Deuces. The show will now be run by executive producers Mary Conley and Andy Leisner.
Yep.
And Derek Westvelt. So man, it's crazy. It's a lot of shit happening.
It is, and even more crazy is you know, T-Witch Her DJ,
Yeah.
the guy that plays the music that she dances to when she comes out and everything, he has been elevated to a co-executive producer. He apparently had some ideas. He had a heart-to-heart with Ellen about some things that he thinks she could do better as far as inclusivity and workplace as far as diversity and stuff. And I guess, she kind of was on board with that, and so she's elevated him to that position, and he's going to be working to kind of change the culture of the show.
There we go.
So, good.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
This is all good, and hopefully all moves in the right direction. So,
Exactly. Only hope for the best because, I mean, on screen, because we don't know her personally, on screen, she looks like a gem. Everything looks perfect and fine, but there's those rumors that she might be a super mega bitch. We don't know. We don't have firsthand experience, but I always hope for the best and hope that, I mean, what she is portraying is, like, accurate. So we'll see.
I hope so. She did pull out the buck stops here, and while it might have been all happening underneath her, it's her show and her name, and she took responsibility. So we'll see. We'll kind of follow that up, and I don't know, see where it's going.
Definitely. Well, now Viacom, CBS.
Yes.
Is anybody getting sued this week?
No. I don't think there's a whole lot of bad news. A lot of good news.
No
basically,
allegations or anything against them.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. But starting out with Paramount Pictures, it's receiving a financial aid from New Republic Pictures on the pair of Tom Cruise's projects, Mission Impossible 7, which was supposed to come out earlier, and now Top Gun Maverick as well. So I mean that's all exciting news, especially for the T Cruise there. And co-financing deal that will also include the Tomorrow War, Infinite, Michael B. Jordan's Without Remorse, Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, the second one.
That's right.
And Transform. Why are they making another Transformers?
I know.
Like, goddamn. And then Tiger's Apprentice, Clifford the Big Red Dog, and Under the Boardwalk, the company recently co-financed Paramount's Rocket Man,
which is the very reason they decided to go ahead and help finance all the rest of these.
It makes sense.
They said the massively overwhelming financial success that Rocket Man saw, and I would assume the profit that New Republic saw, made it more than happy to help finance other movies.
I got you. It's all good. Little into hands.
When you get a good return on investment, you're more likely to give money out again. So, just remember that for anybody else trying to finance something, make money, they'll give you more money.
Exactly. Has anybody ever wanted to see Will Smith and Kevin Hart in something? Well,
me.
Now you're going to. Paramount has announced that Will Smith and Kevin Hart will star and produce a remake of the 1987 road comedy Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And it's going to be coming from Hart's Heartbeat Production and with Smith's Westbrook Studios. So, I mean, that's awesome that they're both developing the remake. And it's going to be a modern update of the original.
Yes. I am so super stoked about this because I loved the original with John Candy and Steve Martin. I just thought it was absolutely a brilliant film. Laughed from start to finish about these two guys both trying to get home for Thanksgiving and having to get the most ridiculous cross-country trip ever on every form of transportation possible to get them there. And they were brilliant together. And now the idea of Smith and fucking Hart going through this and trying to, I can only imagine how ridiculously epic that is going to be. Again, not a huge fan of remakes or reboots, but it's Will Smith and Kevin Hart.
Exactly.
It's going to be funny.
Exactly.
Whether you're a fan of the reboot idea or not, that won't not be funny.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying.
Exactly. And we've been talking about Scream a lot, the new reboot kind of, or in the addition along the Scream storyline. Scream 5 has announced a new cast member that was not a part of the original films. Melissa Barrera has booked a key role in the upcoming film. She, like I said, the first new cast member to be announced and for the much anticipated rewatch. She is a youth star, or the youth star Gina Ortega has also signed on to the film.
Yep.
So that's super exciting, and of course they will join David Arquette and Courtney Cox that are coming back for it as well. And I was watching Drew Barrymore's Hot Ones episode that just dropped, and apparently she was offered Courtney Cox's role but didn't want to take it because she wanted to die in the movie.
Oh, yeah, because for anybody who knows, she's like the first person who dies in the very first Scream movie. So, and we should say, Nev Campbell also apparently has she confirmed a couple months ago that she was in negotiations to come back for this film?
Yeah.
So we're kind of keeping an eye on that. I can't imagine doing a Scream film without Neve Campbell. She's the main person in all the Scream films. So how can you have that without her? We'll keep an eye on that. But she is in talks. She has confirmed that she is indeed in talks. And I saw an interesting rumor. Selena Gomez is apparently in talks to be in this film as well. So that's exciting. I mean, so
It's exciting to watch Selena Gomez almost die. Maybe.
Maybe she'll cook. She's got that new cooking show. T Swift showed up on that.
Yeah.
They had a little fun. So
That's cool.
Who doesn't want to see T Swift and Selena Gomez cook?
Yeah.
I mean, they can do that in Scream 5.
Right?
I mean, and then they die.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. We just rewrote that whole script.
We really did. They're fucking listening. See you in Wilmington. See you in Wilmington.
That's right. That's right. Like, it's North Carolina. We go there.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Exactly. Some more exciting news. Showtime has picked up a half-hour comedy series, Moonbase 8, starring Fred Armisen and Tim Heidecker and John C. Reilly. Loves John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
For 6 episodes, Moonbase 8, which has been in the works at A24 since 2018, is slated to launch sometime in the fall and is described as a workplace comedy that follows 3 subpar astronauts living at NASA's moon-based simulator. So that's going to be super interesting.
It is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Apparently, the 3 of them are the ones who wrote the script and came up with the idea and are like behind it all.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty funny. And Showtime admitted this is in direct response to Steve Carell's Space Force.
That makes sense.
I mean, they wanted
sense.
to get something out there that was as successful. Yeah. And I saw a tweet by one of our former guests and just a really funny, great writer and just a genuinely cool person, Diana Wright. Apparently she had a moon-based comedy that she wrote several years ago and was critiqued so badly on it, said it was horrible and just a stupid idea. She shoved it in a drawer. And now
that sucks.
Here this goes. So for any of you guys out there, don't
give up.
Don't get beat to the punch because you gave up. Keep going, get your shit out there, because if you think it's good, it's relevant, keep fighting to get it out there, because if you don't, somebody will beat you.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just saying.
Exactly. Even though we hate the app TikTok, they are producing stars.
They are.
Someone
he got viral from TikTok.
Yeah, Sarah Cooper, who is a TikTok star, is developing a single-camera comedy at CBS inspired by her book, How to Be Successful Without Hurting Man's Feelings. Cooper is attached to co-write and executive produce the project. The series would follow 3 women in very different stages of their careers at a male-dominated company as they help each other navigate modern gender politics in their careers and in their personal lives. Interesting concept, and it's crazy because you can make a few videos on TikTok and then be famous. I mean, that's just the definition of the social media era right there. Like,
it is.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Kudos to her, though. Happy for her. I mean, you did what you had to do, and you grinded your way up. I mean, shit, you're about to have a fucking show out.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, that's a much better way to do it than Charlotte Kirk's way to do it.
Yeah.
Does that name sound familiar? Yeah. Jump into NBC Universal. All kinds of ugliness going down there. Ron Meyer, the vice chairman of NBC Universal, stepped down this week. Out of there.
That thing.
After he disclosed that he had reached a private settlement with Charlotte Kirk, actress Charlotte Kirk. Apparently, her and a couple of others tried to extort Mr. Meyer after they engaged in an extramarital affair. It's unclear if Meyer will be replaced at the company, but he has also stepped down. We should say he was the chair of the new Film Academy's museum that's getting ready to open up. He also stepped down from there, and Netflix's Ted Sarandos is going to step up and take that role until they can vote in a new chair. Now, why does that name sound familiar? Charlotte Kirk, right? You're thinking, damn, that why? Well, it's because we talked about her pretty extensively a few months back. Charlotte is the same woman who had the extramarital affair with former Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Teixeira in 2013 and 2014. And remember Brett Ratner and that whole big, trading sex for trying to get roles kind of thing that ultimately led to his removal from Warner Brothers. She ain't done yet, though.
No, she's not even close.
Charlotte apparently is currently living with director Neil Marshall you might know him from Game of Thrones. They're living in Los Angeles together. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Marshall and fellow director Joshua Newton are the other two that have been apparently identified by the federal alleys there as the people who tried to extort Meyer. Apparently, both of them went to Meyer individually and tried to extort him about knowing about the affair that he had with Kirk. This is crazy. It doesn't even sound like you can make this shit up. This is like an epic movie, right? This is a bad Lifetime movie right here. I mean, it's just insane. The other, not Meyer, but the other, Newton, he dated Kirk for 5 years and cast her in a lead role in his OJ movie, Nicole and OJ.
Yeah.
My question is, who else has she slept with?
Exactly.
Who else is she going to bring? This is the definition of trying to sleep your way to the top. This woman was apparently going from, studio head to studio head to studio head to director to director to director, trying to get roles. I don't even know what to say about that. There's so many things wrong with that. There's so many things wrong with that about her.
Yeah.
There's so many things wrong about that about them.
Yeah.
About the studio system, about the casting couch, about all of it. What's even more sickening, guys, these guys are like in their 60s, and she was like barely 21 at the time when she was having these affairs, basically, and like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's some very disturbing shit, man. This is what we talk about each week. This is dark Hollywood.
Yes.
She is literally like selling her body to be in movies. Like, you don't need to do that. If you truly believe in your talent, fucking believe in your talent and don't sell yourself.
Yes. Well, current boyfriend and live-in lover, apparently, Marshall, we should say, issued a statement denying that he tried to extort Ron Meyer, saying all of that is bullshit lies based on falsehoods, and they should really focus on the real villains, which is the casting couch. So he's trying to dump it all on the guys that she slept with.
Yeah. It's like, what
it doesn't work like that.
No.
She slept with them. Casting couch or not, she still took the roles. And I feel like if she was a victim, she wouldn't have moved on to the next one.
Exactly.
And the next one. And the next one. I mean, I don't discount victims of casting couch. We know. We talk about it. Les Moonves, all these scumbags who, Harvey Weinstein, all these guys that did that. But she definitely does not sound to me like a victim.
No.
I'm just saying. She sounds like a willing participant to try to trade sex for roles, and that's unfortunate.
It's very crazy, man. Very crazy.
Don't do it, guys. If you're a young woman actor or even a young male actor, because we know that they get taken advantage of in this industry too, you do not have to sell yourself sexually to advance your career.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But
all right.
Happy news. Happy news. Seth MacFarlane has really been dealing with the period pieces here recently.
And intense drama.
Yeah, like I'm super excited about that. He has teamed with Chadwick Boseman.
Black Panther.
Yes, on a limited series.
Wakanda forever.
Exactly. Oh shit.
No wonder he hates that shit. He's probably knocking stuff over all the time.
Exactly. About the Little Rock 9 that is currently in development and Universal Content Productions. The untitled series is set in 1957 after a landmark Supreme Court decision versus Brown versus Board of Education, and it's going to follow 14-year-old Carlotta?
Yep, Carlotta.
Carlotta Walls is amongst the first black students to attend an all-white Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, and she obviously walks into unexpected violence, struggle with the integration, and which is going to turn her and the black students into like civil rights icons. So
this is intense.
Yeah, that's really intense. Like hardship and then coming out on top. Like that's the American dream, honestly. That's literally, I feel like, what it's about. You have to work hard. Some people are going to look at you like you're fucking nothing, but then you have to overcome that and come out on top, and I'm really excited to watch this.
Guys, and for anybody who doesn't know, that landmark decision, Brown versus the Board of Education, that was some scary shit back in the day.
Yeah.
You had some crazy motherfuckers in Alabama, trying to, this whole segregation bullshit, and these poor kids were being denied to go to school by fucking the military. The National Guard was keeping them out, and then when this ruling happened and they were allowed to start integrating infiltrating into the white schools. They had to be escorted in by cops because they were in fear for their lives and shit. I mean, it was intense shit going down back then. And this ruling by the Supreme Court changed everything and just kind of like, I don't know, this is going to be a really interesting series to watch. And you just don't think McFarlane for these things, but
you don't.
I'm telling you, this guy is a genius. And to team up with somebody like Chadwick Boseman, who always does these type, projects, and it's going to be brilliant.
I agree, man. I agree. And Seth, if you're listening, I sent you an Instagram message. Open that shit. I'm just saying.
Do it. He's your biggest fan. Do it.
It's true.
Do it.
Now, this is very interesting as well. I mean, producing and developing more content for their streaming service, The Peacock. Clueless, a television series basically based on the hit 1995 feature. Yeah. I don't. Why?
Alicia, you remember it? Alicia Silverstone, Paul Rudd. It was a brilliant movie.
This
hilarious.
Is the definition of a cult classic.
Yeah, this is definitely a cult classic. That's right. Watch our top 5 last week. It was but why? And here's the kicker, guys. Cher, Alicia Silverstone's character, not even in it.
What the fuck?
She's not even going to be in it. Not even the focal character. Apparently, this one is going to be about Stacey Dash's character, which is even more interesting to me. Dion, remember she played Dion, the best friend?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to center around Dion, who was always, remember, the second lieutenant.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
to Cher's I'm the badass in the school, right? Well, apparently Cher is no longer around, and now this show is going to deal with Dion having to step up to become like the it girl at school, and how she has to go deal with all that.
Interesting. It's coming from the Will and Grace writers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
I don't know.
I know.
It's going to be one of those like where it's kind of a Saved by the Bell type thing. I loved the movie. I don't see the point of this series.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Agreed. But they are doing some smart things like teaming up with Emilio Estevez.
Yes, and we talk about this film all the time because I'm a huge fan of this film, The Public.
Yes.
Emilio Estevez wrote, executive produced, directed, and stars in this bad boy. And it's a brilliant film, guys. If you haven't seen it, it's basically about this guy who locks himself in with all of his patrons in the library because they're threatening to shut the library down. All these people are homeless, and there's no room in the shelters, and they're going to have to freeze to death basically on the street. So Emilio Estevez's character agrees to do a lockdown inside the library and gets into all kinds of some shit for that.
Yeah, man.
And this has got a huge cast. Alec Baldwin, Jenna Malone, Taylor Schilling, Christian Slater, Jacob Vargas, Michael K. Williams, Jeffrey Wright, and the only one that matters in the whole thing, Spencer Garrett.
Yeah.
Spencer Garrett, our buddy Spencer's in it.
Oh, of course.
Of course he is, because he's in everything. He is literally in everything. I'm just telling you, he's in everything. All kidding aside, this is a really fantastic movie that deals with a lot of shit that's kind of going on, especially in big cities with the homeless problem and everything. So I would definitely check this. And I got to say, too, Emilio Estevez is a fucking phenomenal director.
Yeah, man.
This
he really
film is really good, and to be able to pull a cast like that together and kind of do what he was able to do with this film on almost a damn near nothing budget, it's amazing, guys.
Yeah.
Check it out for sure. And kudos to Peacock for picking up an indie film like that and giving it some limelight and exposure.
Exactly. September 15th, you'll be able to watch it on the Peacock.
Yes.
So check it out. Amandla Steinberg has joined Universal Pictures' feature adaptation of Tony-winning musical Dear Evan Hansen. She will play Elena, a high school senior whose cheery facet, a social media savvy masker of deep loneliness and isolation.
Aww.
Yeah, and whose response to the death of the classmate ignites a movement. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like that's a lot what's happening right now. Not the death, but death happens every day. But more or less the social media aspect of seeing everybody you go to school with online, and you feel the loneliness because you see them there and you possibly can talk to them there and interact with them there, but don't interact with them in person.
Exactly.
So it's interesting. But she is writing and singing a new original song composed for the film. So.
Yeah, and she's actually working with the writers to help compose the song all together. And what I found really interesting about this is this particular character in the musical was kind of a small, just their role. It's actually been expanded for her in this film adaptation.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You remember her, The Hate You Give, and she's a phenomenal actress and just just like, I think she's going to kill that, man.
Exactly. Other people who are going to kill some amazing things. I'm so super excited. Olivia Wilde has signed with Sony to develop and direct an untitled female-centric Marvel film for the studio. The film, I mean, she wrote Booksmart, which was a huge success. That's also a cult classic, I feel like. A nowadays cult classic. But I'm super excited, man. Gwen Stacy Spider-Man.
No, I don't think so. I think I would love to see Gwen Stacy, but I think it's going to be Jessica and Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
It could be Gwen Stacy because she was Spider-Woman at some point also.
Yeah.
But if they're going to go the original Spider-Woman, I don't know. Okay, this is why we're talking about it, because the rumor is, and Olivia Wilde started this rumor because when it came out that she had signed on to direct the film, she quoted the tweet with a little spider.
Haha.
So obviously it's going to be something to do
Of course.
with the Spider-Man universe. They've
Yeah.
made no doubt they're no hidden agenda that with Venom and Morbius, and they're developing this Spider-Man universe, and it only makes sense that female-centric led movie.
Yeah.
They have talked about Black Cat and Silver Sable, though, doing a spin-off like that. I'm wondering, could possibly be that. We don't know.
I saw a rumor earlier this week about a possible Craven spinoff as well.
Oh, yeah, we've got news on that, too.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that, too. But I hope it's Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
I really think, just whoever it is, whatever it is, will Marvel Studios be involved in it like they are with the Spider-Man movies? We don't know. Or is this just one of those independent kind of, strictly Sony Spider-Man stuff like Venom was? But so we'll keep an eye on that. But Amy Pascal is the one who kind of really worked the deal with Feige to get the Spider-Man thing to happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like if she's involved in this, maybe Feige and MCU are too. I don't know.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Well, I mean, I didn't even see this before I said it. But J.C. Chandor is in talks to direct Sony's Kraven the Hunter film, and it's going to be, like I said, the Spider-Man spinoff centering about the notorious anti-hero Sergei Kranoff.
Yeah, hey, you did that really well.
Thank you.
You did that really well.
I try.
I'm excited because Kraven has always been one of my favorite villains in the Spider-Man universe, and this is why I think this is all still going to be connected to the MCU, though, because as we know in the last film, Spidey's on the run now, right? He's running from the authorities, and he's wanted for murder and everything. It only makes sense that you would bring Kraven the Hunter in to hunt him down.
Right.
So, I feel like that's why it's maybe connected. If the name sounds familiar to you, JC was the director for Netflix's Ben Affleck movie Triple Frontier.
Yeah.
So the guy's got a solid track record of delivering on these drama type, meaty type roles. So, it's and like I said, you got Morbius, you got Venom 2, you got all these big Spider-Man movies coming. The question is where does Spider-Man fit into it all?
Yeah.
We don't know, but we'll find out.
Exactly. Oh, MGM doing some things. MGM is overhauling its Orion.
Yes.
Orion, the Ark, or what fucking star, or whatever the fuck it is.
That's right, exactly.
As it means to amplify underserviced voices, and has hired veteran executive Elena Mayo as president of the label. So that's super moved in the diversity direction.
Oh yeah, she's strictly being brought in to do just that, to develop movies and series and things with the studio for underdeveloped neighborhoods, communities, and races that they feel like aren't getting enough representation in their movies.
Yeah, and the current president will be stepping down along with his team in early October after the release of Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yep.
So MGM, it's still there. It's still kicking.
It's true.
It's trying, man. It's trying. It's such a historic studio, and they're doing what they can. I'm honestly happy they're just still around.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Exactly.
Netflix. Netflix doing some things and some stuff. They have announced actress Elizabeth Debicki has been cast as the late Princess Diana in the 5th and 6th final season of The Crown.
Yes, super excited about that. And then Diana's going to be coming up in the 4th season with Emma Corrin playing the role, and then the older actress will take over. Did you see the trailer that dropped? Gillian Anderson from X-Files is playing Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, shit.
And you only see the back of her head, but you can already see the contention between the Queen and Margaret, because the Iron Lady. She don't take no shit.
Right.
She don't take no shit from the Queen either. So I just think it's gonna be brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, they show the iconic wedding dress of Diana. The trailer was just awesome. So this is big news. And why does the Debicki name sound familiar? She's in Tenet.
She's in Tenet.
You may or may not see her in the theaters in a couple weeks.
Yeah, right? Oh, my goodness. Oh, freaking Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling are going to make an action thriller, guys.
Yeah, $200 million.
I mean, we were just talking about it on ItCaf Behind the Scenes. Netflix spending a boat ton of money, and they continue to do it.
Yeah.
Titled Gray Man, and it is guaranteed a $20 million production tax credit.
That helps.
Yeah, in California, still film commission. But yeah, that's huge. And I mean, they're looking for this thing to become a franchise.
Yeah, so I mean, if you spend that much money, it always helps to get 10% of it back. And then if it does become a franchise, I mean, whew.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. They're also doing more interesting things because like huge cult followings are sneakerheads.
Yes.
And Netflix has picked up Sneakerheads, a 6-episode comedy starring Alan Maldonado.
Maldonado.
And Andrew Batchelor from creator Jay Longio and Complex Networks. And this Netflix original series is set to premiere September 25th. The series centers around Devin, a former sneakerhead turned a stay-at-home dad who gets back into the game only to quickly find himself 5 G's in the hole after falling for one of his old friends' fucking get-rich-quick schemes.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
shady.
Some shady shit. But apparently this is big business in real life. This is like a thing. They're making a movie about it too. So this is crazy. Alan Maldonado, guys, he's in the #1 movie on Netflix right now, Project Power with Jamie Foxx. So that's exciting. And now he's got his series coming on board. And what's more exciting is we're going to be talking to him in a couple of weeks. He's one of our upcoming guests.
Yeah.
So of course he's got the #1 movie on Netflix right now, and he just got picked up the series by Netflix. I think we have a lot to talk about.
Right? Like, shit.
Alan, we can't wait to talk to you, man. That's going to be really exciting.
Boom. Just a little tease. Netflix has also renewed Warrior Nun for its second season. News of the revival comes about a month and a half after the show's launch of the first season. So that's pretty exciting. They're actually keeping something.
Yes.
And the Netflix has also ordered a 12 5-minute episodes of Bookmarks celebrating Black voices, which will feature Black celebrities and artists reading children's books written by Black authors, but it's going to be Tiffany Haddish reading, along with like Common and other people, but Tiffany Haddish.
Guys, this is a brilliant idea. I think it's great to have, recognizable Black figures using their platform to read from Black authors to highlight Black stories for Black children. What sounds bad about that, right? But do you remember Tiffany Haddish reading the Oscar nominees a couple years back? All I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. She maybe that's not my choice to read some books.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Or is it? We don't know. Tiffany, come on the show. Tiffany.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it.
And we were teasing a little bit earlier, Jensen Ackles is coming to The Boys, 3rd season. He will portray Soldier Boy, a.k.a. original superhero streaming drama. Soldier Boy fought in World War II, so he's actually going to be a soldier boy, not like the rapper.
That's right.
So I'm very excited about that.
I am super stoked. This guy's a pure ripoff of Captain America, but the Boys creators admit that.
Yeah.
The comic book creators, that was the intention. It's a knockoff parody of Captain America, but man, Jensen Ackles is what was he going to do after Supernatural? Now you know. So Padalecki's putting on the shield. He's going to be a Texas Ranger, and Ackles is going to be a superhero.
Exactly.
So,
All
right, Apple. We can't not talk about Apple, right? The first $2 trillion company. Holy shit, they got money.
It's insane.
So what do you do with all that money? You hire Reese Witherspoon.
Of course. What the fuck?
I mean, she's the hardest working woman in Hollywood right now with Hello Sunshine, right? And okay, this only made sense after Walk the Line. That's all I'm saying. It only
Yeah.
made sense after Walk the Line. Apple has ordered a music competition series called My Kinda Country, which is going to feature a global search for country music talent. And Reese Witherspoon and her Hello Sunshine banner are going to executive produce. And Adam Blackstone is going to serve as the musical director of the series. He previously worked with artists like Justin Timberlake, Alicia Keys, Faith Hill. So this only makes sense. I think it's going to be badass, and it's going to be a success because anything she touches seems to be a huge success.
Big facts, man. Big freaking facts. And this is a huge, another cult classic, another 80s cult classic. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes!
Sean Penn will take part in an all-star table read of the classic 1982 coming-of-age film. But that's not the only big name. I'm talking Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Shia LaBeouf, Matthew McConaughey, Julia Roberts, Jimmy Kimmel, Dane Cook, Morgan Freeman, Henry Golding. Who's not in this thing?
I mean, this is huge. Huge. You remember Ben Stein was the teacher? You know, I'm hoping Morgan Freeman is going to be the Ben Stein character because that would be badass. Here's the kicker guy, though. Jeff Spicoli, right? Sean Penn, classic surfer boy. You know, he's not playing Jeff Spicoli.
Right? Like, what the hell?
No. We don't know who's playing who. They're going to get the roles on the night of. They're going to find out who they're reading, and then they're just going to go with it. So that's going to be badass.
Dude, that's epic. Super improv shit, I feel
like.
Yeah.
Amy Heckerling, who directed the original film, and James Cameron, who wrote the original film, they're both going to be there for the reading. So this will be something everybody will tune into.
I agree.
And what's the deal with Brad and Jen? I'm just saying, all right, just throwing that out there.
But now it is time for the guest segment, guys. You guys know we teased a little earlier. Chad Atkins,
yes.
Paul Works, talking about puppies and going to New Orleans, working with Hallmark because Hallmark loves doing things like this.
Yes.
So, but this guy was just a genuine, down-to-earth guy, and I just think everybody, not just the up-and-comers, but everybody everywhere is going to love this interview.
I think so too. And while it's not wholly entertainment related, guys, there's a lot of valuable advice for people in the entertainment industry or trying to get into the entertainment industry about when one door closes, open another one, kick it open yourself and keep moving forward. And that's exactly what this guy did.
Exactly.
And so it's valuable advice, and you guys are definitely going to want to listen to this one.
Exactly. Well, here he is.
Chad Atkins, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you, man?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, man, we are super excited about this. We've been kind of talking about it all week with the listener base about how it's something radically different from what we're used to, but we're super excited about it because, I mean, we're both pet owners, you know,
yes.
And we both recently lost long-term pets. So that's and so, you know, we're in the process. Exactly. That's exactly right. We're in the process of trying to find that next one. So it's definitely, we're inspired by that. And who doesn't love what you're doing, man, and you know, rescuing animals and puppies and just all this kind of stuff. We're super excited to talk to you, man.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's kind of become my passion in life. I didn't, go into this thinking I was going to be a puppy saver and a cat saver, but life takes you in really different directions, and here I am about a decade later saving 8,000 animals with my organization Paw Works. So it's been an eye-opening experience, and now I'm helping produce Tales of Joy 2 on Hallmark Channel. So, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit for listeners who might not be familiar. Let's talk about how it all got started, because it didn't start with Paw Works. You actually had like a boarding kennel, correct?
I did. So back in my 20s, I'm now in my 40s, I started a doggy daycare service actually out in the Bay Area. From there, I moved out here to Ventura County here in California, and I took my business with me. And then I had one of my clients who was kind of a bougie woman, and she was helping another nonprofit here locally. And she said, "Hey, come help me. You do great with my dog." Her dog used to actually bite people, and I helped socialize him and get him really loving everybody. And she's like, "You're doing great with my dog. Why don't you come help me with all these dogs? I have all these pit bulls and chihuahuas." It was a very rural shelter, low income. So there was a lot of just, owner surrenders and dogs on the streets. And I said, "Okay, I'll come, donate 5 hours a week." And, that first week I donated 40 hours of my time.
Sure.
I was like, holy shit, what am I doing? So I really was, I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like I realized, I mean, I've always been kind of an all or nothing kind of guy.
Hmm.
And so I went to her after a few weeks and I said, look, my business is starting to suffer. I'm spending so much time here. And I had a couple employees, but I'm not really focusing my time and energy on my business. And she said, well, why don't you see if you can get hired here? And I said, they can't afford me. Like I make way too much doing what I'm doing now. They can't afford me. And she's like, how do you know? Why don't you put together a proposal? And so I was like, why not? So I did. And they actually hired me as their shelter manager with my proposal. That lasted about 3 months of time. There was a board of directors, they were a nonprofit, and they did not like me changing the culture of the way of doing business. I've ran my own business. I'm like, let me do my job,
Right.
give
Right.
me benchmarks to hit. They didn't like that. So 1 week before Christmas, they let me go.
Mm.
So
That's crazy.
that was a little bittersweet. And so the bougie woman at the time actually ended up being the executive director to the shelter. She always said I didn't want to die with a Chanel handbag in my purse in my
Yeah.
hand. So she wanted to leave a legacy. So she was acting as the executive director, and she said, look, I've done well for myself. Why don't I donate his salary back every month, because we work really well together? And they said, oh, we're letting you go too.
Oh
Oh,
So it
wow.
was like a
oh,
double whammy.
Yeah.
And so she was very depressed over the holidays. I was really pissed off, to be honest.
sure.
And I tell this story, and I only tell this story to a few people, but I I really started Paulworks because I knew what I was doing. I knew I could do good work. I knew I could change the culture of rescue, and it was a big fuck you.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Going
absolutely.
Hell
from
yeah.
this organization that said you weren't good enough, you weren't doing what you're supposed to. I was like, you watch, I can do better, and I will do better. And here we are, 6.5 years later. Paulworks has become my passion in life. We are, saving 8,000 animals to date. Now, we're up to about 2,500 dogs and cats a year from high kill shelters all over California. I started working with different networks, Hallmark Channel in general, with Adoption Ever After initiative.
Hmm.
And I came into contact with a couple producers, and Christy Foley, who's with Pleasant Street Entertainment. She's the executive producer. We became very good friends, and I told her I had this idea of, showing rescue and really showing rescue and not sugarcoating it, because it's really it's a bunch of people coming together for the same purpose, and we're
Right.
all a little crazy. We're all a little off our rockers. Um,
We like that.
we really are. We really have lost our minds to some degree. And you take all these personalities and you meld them together, but you have this one crazy passion for saving animals. And I said, we really need to show this, and I really want to show it without sugarcoating it. And she pitched it to Hallmark, which is not really my personal demographic, because as you can see, I like to drop the F bomb once in a while.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
But they loved the idea, and came out, Tales of Hallmark Channel's Tales of Joy, and the very first one we did back in February aired, and it was all about Paulworks and our rescue of 60 dogs and cats from the Central Valley. And the second Tales of Joy, that's airing August 31st at 11 a.m. on Hallmark Channel. We go to Louisiana, me and 8 other rescues, and we save about 200 dogs and cats from this very rural shelter,
Mm.
and we transport them back to Michigan, Florida, and all the way back to California.
Oh wow.
Oh, woo. Yeah,
So
well,
yeah,
a couple
it's
of
it's a crazy ride.
couple of things about that right there. We are both very interested in the collaboration with Hallmark because you brought it up. I mean, their key demographic, their target audience is mostly female. 18 to 49, and do you find that similar to what you see with people with dog adoptions and or rescues? I mean, are those the people that are visiting the shelters? Are those the people that are donating to the fundraisers? I mean, does that collaboration work really well for y'all, and how does that correlate?
I would tell you. So rescue is primarily driven by women. I think women are the more compassionate part of our species. Us men can kind of be jerks, and we're kind of black and white a lot of times.
What?
And
Fuck
how
you,
we
Jack.
handle
No,
it.
no,
So yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
It's true.
So it aligns with the demographic of who's in rescue. However, I will say it's kind of across the board of how people donate. Like our donors are men
Mm,
and women.
Hmm.
You really, with men, you have to hit that one, point in their heart that's still red and not black from, whatever they lived in their life.
Right.
And women are just all love and compassion, no matter how much you fuck them over. So
That is so true.
so yeah, I mean, it really fits within who's watching it. I would love to get a demographic of more men
Mm,
involved because us combined, men and women, we can really, like, when we work together, we kind of just change everything, and it's not cross fighting amongst each other. So
Right.
I'm there are men in rescue. I'm one of them, of course. And so, but I have a little bit different take on things. I collide a lot with different people in the rescue world because I'm not overly emotional. I'm very business minded. I look at
mm,
rescue like a business because at the end of the day, if you don't have money in the bank, you can't save animals.
Right.
that's it.
So but I have that compassionate side, and I think I've cried 5 or 6 times since I started Paul Works, and when I cry, everybody around me kind of freaks out
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't do it often because I don't let it get to me. I really compartmentalize what I have to do, which really works for me. But when I need that compassionate side, I have a lot of amazing women that I work with that kind of pull me down and say, okay, it's time to reel that hardness in and soften, and let's save animals and be compassionate all at the same time because sometimes the human population are assholes and
Yeah.
they do shitty things, and we see the worst of it, but then we see the best of it.
That's good, and I like that you bring up the fact that it's a business because we talk about that all the time about what we do. As creators and filmmakers and that type of thing, you get so caught up in the creative aspect of it and what you're trying to put out there and the content that you forget sometimes. Oh yeah, this is also a business, and we have to make some money in order to keep doing this. And you got to approach it that way. I mean, you can have a passion for what you do and what you're out there attempting to succeed at, but you've also got to remember that you also have to kind of make a living doing it in order to keep doing it.
100%. I mean, I use accountants, I use lawyers, I use electricians, you name it, I use it. So, yeah, if I don't have money in the bank, my washing machine breaks because I'm doing 40 loads a day because I'm cleaning dog shit off of every kennel. Yeah,
Hell
I have
yeah.
to think like that. So, and people don't look at that. They see it as you just have to be compassionate and you just
Right.
save the animal and you do it at every expense. And it's like, you have to be careful with that because then you get these hoarding cases that happen with people who have the intent of, saving one and then end up having 40 animals in their home, which
Right.
that's mentally, that's not good for you either. So
Mm-mm.
you really have to strike a balance in your life. And that's one thing that I think in the rescue world, the compassion fatigue that we experience and really kind of separating ourselves sometimes, I'm really diligent about that with my people. I work them to death, don't get me wrong, because I work, 7 days straight, but
Right.
you never stop. Rescue never sleeps. You could rescue any hour of the day, any day of the week, but you really have to take that time and take care of yourself and, not, and look at it, everything as how do I balance this in my life?
Right.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, I have to say, this is pretty amazing to have you on. And I, doing some research on you, we see that you took part in helping making Ventura County one of the only no-kill counties in California. Is that correct?
That is. So our whole goal when we started was to make Ventura County no kill. So we went to the county, the rescue that I worked with prior, and kind of built a unstable relationship with Ventura County, kind
Mm-hmm.
of rubbed some people the wrong way. And we're like, listen, we're all in this together. So let's
Right.
build some bridges. And we did that before we left that organization. And then we walked in and said, listen, we're going to create Polworks and we're going to dedicate our first year to making Ventura County no kill.
Mm.
We actually, with the amount of animals that we pulled from our local 2 shelters, which constitutes Ventura County Animal Services, we were actually able to help them become no kill within the first 30 days.
Oh, wow.
And that's something that they have kept and I kept achieving since that day. So back in February of 2014, they became no kill for the very first time, and they've stayed that status ever since.
I
So
love that too.
I can't take credit for them staying there, but it was never my intent to keep them there. It was my job to help alleviate the pressure of all the inflow of animals coming in, and then allow them to create a system where they could actually save animals, get them out, partner with more rescues, build programs where they could teach these animals. They get taxpayer money. I do not. We
Right.
fund it on donation dollars, adoption fees, everything like that. So I don't get the taxpayer dollars that, they do. They get quite a bit, like any animal service. So yeah, and so now it's my goal is to, do that with California and go section by section. We really, I would say for the past 18 months have really focused on the Central Valley here in California, and that
Mm-hmm.
really constitutes from Bakersfield to pretty much Modesto.
Mm.
So we're on track this year to save 2,500 dogs and cats, and I would say 95% have come from the Central Valley.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
that's epic. Now how does Paul Works work? Is this like when you rescue these animals and you bring them in and you care for them, is this like a foster operation? Do you find foster homes for them, or are you guys doing adoption and trying to find forever homes, or is it a mix of both, or how does it work?
So what ends up happening is when we do a transport, and since the COVID world has happened, we've been doing transports every week for the past 5-6 months now that we've been in quarantine,
Mhm.
and we're doing anywhere from 40 to 80 animals in each transport. We actually have a facility out here in Camarillo, and they all come to the facility. They actually get vaccinated, dewormed, defleed, bathed all in one day. This is all done in one day.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then they get to decompress after that. So if they're like underage or they're really medically challenged, they'll go immediately to the vet, or we'll also put the puppies and the underage ones in foster so that, they don't have to stay in this kind of more sterile environment that the facility is,
Right.
because the facility is meant to prevent cross contamination to viruses and stuff like that, and really just kind of let the animal decompress in a more relaxed atmosphere without
Mhm.
being running on the streets in 100-degree weather. Um, and then what we do about a week or 10 days after that, depending on if they're healthy, they get a clean bill of health and they're altered, spay and neutered, get a microchip, all that, they actually go up for adoption. So we do the whole process.
Wow.
Wow.
And I would say in the past, I think I've done the math since March 19th, and it's really huge because of COVID. We've never been as busy. We've actually saved, just in these 5 months, we've saved 1,200 dogs and cats. And I can tell you, all of last year, we saved 1,600 dogs and cats. So in 5 months, we've saved 1,200. So you can just see how much is happening with the new world we're living in.
Right, right. Well, let's talk about the upcoming special a little bit and the location, because it's St. Landry Parish, Louisiana, and
That's right.
I spent a lot of time living in Louisiana and around that area. A
I'm
lot,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, Lafayette Parish and St. Landry, and I'll tell you, it is a big problem there. There's the overpopulation of animals there, where they don't spay and neuter, and they tend to hoard, and they tend to have this reckless attitude about taking care of the animals there. It seems like a wise choice for a location to go in and do a rescue. So talk about that a little bit, about what it was like and why you chose that location, and what the because at the top of the show you talked about how you wanted to do this special and you kind of want to show it without the sugar coating. So talk about that and what it was like and why you chose where you chose and how it was, man.
Well, I can tell you it was not my idea. I've never been to Louisiana prior to this, and I've definitely not been to Opelousas, Louisiana, which
Mm,
is where St. Landry's Parish is.
right.
However, we have Hallmark has a very good relationship with Bissell Pet Foundation,
Hmm.
Kathy Bissell, who started that, and they are, of course, Bissell Vacuums. So she has a pet foundation, and she does a lot, of course, because she's in Michigan. So she does a lot in the Midwest and a lot in the South. And this is kind of one of her shelters that she helps out a lot in that area. So we were partnering with Bissell Pet Foundation for this Tales of Joy, and she recommended that we go out to St. Landry's and really, kind of do this group effort, because she has done this before.
Hmm.
And so we're like, great, let's go out there. And I actually went out there with the intent of just being a producer on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there and I was like, shit. Literally, I was there and I looked at Christy Foley, who's the executive producer, and I looked at my team because I brought a couple people with me, and I was like, I can't leave these dogs here.
Yeah.
So we ended up ourselves bringing back about 40 dogs.
Mm.
And we drove them from Louisiana to California.
Woo.
Wow.
And altogether, we saved about 200 between all the other rescues, one from Florida and then 7 from Michigan. But yeah, it really became a labor of love. And again, I don't choke up much. I choked up a little bit there. And I would say, I didn't get to experience the culture of the area very much, but you drive by, you're saving 200 dogs, and then you drive by and you see, them laying on the railroad tracks. So
Right.
it definitely is a mentality there that dogs are, and they are in our world, they're treated as private property. That's what the law states. They're treated as private property, and definitely in that area, that's how they're treated. They're treated as second-class citizens. They're outside. I'm not saying everybody's like that. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. But that's a general consensus. If you're worried about putting food on the table for your kids or feeding your dog, definitely they're putting food on the table for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So they're treated as such and not worried about as much. And it's easy to, let them not worry about spay and neuter, but it's all an education. And I think if the options were out there and they were more prevalent in that area, I think it would be, it would get better. But you also have to put yourself out there, and who wants to put themselves out there and really change a culture? That's a lot of work.
Right.
I'm not saying I mean I would do that, but it would take a lot. It would take a lot of money. It would take a lot of time. It would be heart and soul to really change a community, and that's what you have to do. You can't change just one person. You really work in the community, and you get one person at a time. But it's really the community that has to get behind you. I mean, that's kind of how Paulworks succeeded. Is we really had the community really push us forward. And once they heard, we're doing no kill here in Ventura County, they're all behind us.
Absolutely.
So, Opelousas, Louisiana, it was an eye-opening experience. I have a great team myself. So they drove, it took them 3 days. It's 26 hours of driving alone. Had to, stop every 6 to 8 hours to give them water. This is the
Right.
middle of February, so we're talking winter. We're not talking
Right,
this
right.
horrible
Right.
summer that we're having right now. But we're talking winter, so it's cold. Actually, one of my it was boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're in a relationship, so it worked out. But the boyfriend actually slept in the car every night to keep the heater on,
Wow.
because there's no hotel that's going to take 40 dogs.
Right,
Right.
right.
You know,
That's
so
dedication right there, man. That's like
yeah. But then he slept on the road the whole time while she drove. So hey, it's a trade-off.
There you go.
Well,
there
like
you
we were
go.
talking about, women will always be there to love us at the end.
That's right.
They will.
No matter what you do
They
to
keep
them.
us
That's
going.
right. That's right. But you bring up education, and I think that's important because that's a lot. That's one of the main initiatives of Paul Works is yourself, like doing this podcast and doing the shows on Hallmark, and I mean the press tour that you do on a regular basis is. I think it's so important and so critical to get the message out there that
Exactly.
there are other options, that it doesn't have to be that way that you saw in Opelousas. And we should say that St. Landry Parish is one of the economically challenged parishes in Louisiana. I mean, it is a poor community, and so you're right. It's do I put food on the table or do I do this with these dogs and cats? And unfortunately, that's the way it is. But I think what you're doing in your organization and the education, I think that's key to helping stop a lot of what we see in that type stuff.
Well, I mean, 100%. I mean, I really believe that as much as I do in my generation, we're really not going to end pet overpopulation. I'm going to do my damnedest,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really not going to fully change. But what I hope to teach my own son, who's almost 13, and the kids coming up, is I actually have a child pet ambassador program, and we're actually one of the only that I know of in our area that allows children as young as 6 to actually hands-on work with the animals. And they're not doing anything strenuous. They're literally just
Right.
sitting with dogs and cats that might not otherwise want to be around a child. And it's a liability issue, but it definitely teaches the kids compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and it educates them about rescue animals. But on top of that, it really helps the animals get used to, different people, different things. But I really believe it's that generation, the ones coming up right now that are, from 6 to 15, that are really going to make a difference in our world. There's so much more wide open to ideas and changing things and thinking outside the box than even my generation. I'm 42 almost, so I think as we get older, we get a little more stubborn, we get a little more set in our ways.
Right.
And these kids nowadays, I mean, you can be whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and no one looks a blind eye. So, it's this program that I think will ultimately, and these kids, that will really change the future.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, the kids growing up now, they're lucky enough to have someone like yourself who's there to show them the ways, teach them how to do all these things, and to have a conversation, because we talk about it all the time, that the gray area, not a lot of people like to have the conversation, but you're breaking in the door and making people have the conversation, which is a great thing to do, especially with our animals that we hold so loving and endearing to our heart, and it just needs to happen, and we need to have them as one of our first priorities, and I completely wholeheartedly agree with you.
Well, yeah, you either love me or hate me, and I'm the generation that we're not afraid of work,
Yeah.
but we also like it easy.
Yeah.
We're not going to work harder than we have to.
That's
The
right.
few generations before me worked their asses off and didn't really think about how to work
That's
smarter,
right.
not harder.
That's
Our
it.
generation's like, let's work hard, but not that hard. Let's
That's
start
right.
having other people work for us. So now I want my kids to work for me, and they're all like just heart. They ooze heart, which it doesn't really work for me, but it works for our world. So.
There we go.
You know what I really like to is just your straightforward honesty,
Yeah.
man. It's so refreshing to have somebody. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Fuck it, we're good. We're just gonna go this way or that way. We love that, man. We love that approach, and you're right. I think hopefully generations after us can learn that it's okay to work smart, not always hard, right? Like
Yes,
I feel like
100%.
sometimes working smart is hard. I mean, depending on who you're dealing with, it could be both, right? Like.
Absolutely, then I'll teach that generation. They'll get to know Uncle Chad very well, and I don't mean that in a creepy way.
That's another special one. Yeah, it'll be down the line. It'll be great.
Conversations with Uncle Chad.
That's right. Oh my gosh, yeah. If you need us to produce that, let us know. We'll come
Yeah,
right
we
on
got
board.
you.
We got you.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh man. So tell everybody again when the special airs, because we want everybody to watch it. So when does it air again?
So it's airing August 31st at 11 a.m. on the Hallmark Channel, not their side movie one, on the actual Hallmark Channel. It's Eastern and Pacific time at 11 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a diehard, Hallmark fan, you need to sit down, have your popcorn or your lunch ready, and be ready to watch it and cry and have your Kleenex, because there's the happy, I do know how to make people cry. I'm really good at it. So, not always for the right reasons, but I can make people cry.
Yeah.
You will definitely shed some tears.
And that's a good thing, though. They're good tears this time, so it's a good thing.
100%.
And Paul Works is everywhere on social media. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media as well, because we definitely want everybody to follow you.
Yep. So it's Paul Works. It's PAWWORKS. It's 2 words. Don't forget the S on the end, because then you won't find us. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have some YouTube videos out there. We have a website, paulworks.org. It's because we're a nonprofit, so don't forget the org. So yeah, you just Google us, you'll find us.
Fantastic. And then one more thing I wanted to bring up, and I hope this is correct, because doing in the research I looked, but it kind of folds back into our industry a little bit. Are you not like one of the first nonprofit organizations to have like a celebrity on your board of trustees? Is Kaylee Cuoco still on your board, and how did that all come about?
So she was on our board for 2 years, and then she did her due diligence and she stepped away and wanted to expand, into opening up, because once you get on the board of something, you're kind of dedicated primarily to
Right.
them. And she's a huge animal lover,
Mhm.
horses, goats, pigs, you name it, she loves it. But quickly, I'll give you a really quick story, but she came on the board because I actually had a friend who did some private photography for her.
Oh, okay.
And he had kind of told me, I know the celebrity, she loves animals. And I was like, well, who is it? And I, like you've seen, I don't mince words.
Right.
Very straightforward. And he finally said, oh, it's Kaylee Cuoco. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay. So for about 3 months, he kept me on the fence of, because, you also don't want to approach celebrities in a way. You get one ask on with certain people or
Right.
certain
Right.
things. So he's like, I have to be careful not to. And I was like, okay, how fucking long does this take? I can ask her. Ask her anything. Like, even if we can have a picture with her, I don't know. Something.
Right.
And And so what ended up happening was she was going on the what is it called? I'm gonna blank, but the LL Cool J show where you sing along.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it
the lip
anybody
sync
know?
battle. Yeah.
Yes. So she was going on that shortly, and he got the email from her mom because he knew her mom better than her, and her mom said, just email her. Who cares? If she doesn't want to respond, she won't respond. And I was like, great. So I got the email, responded to her, and she said, it must be kismet because I have to choose a nonprofit to donate $10,000 to for this lip sync challenge, and I'm gonna do it for you guys. And I was
Oh
like,
wow.
okay. I wasn't expecting that, but
Right?
great. And then our relationship just blossomed, and I was invited to her wedding, which was great. And so she really became part of the Paul Ricks family, and she always will be. She's always welcome back anytime, but she's on to bigger, better things, and so are we. So we're growing together, but in different ways. But she's great. She's the best animal advocate you could have.
Well, dude, I can't think of a better way to end than on a story like that.
I
That's
know, right?
absolutely epic. I love it. I just love the honesty. It's like, well, how the fuck long does this take? Just ask her. I mean, just like, it's so good, man. It's so good. And speaking of open invite, man, just anytime you want to come back in, man, you're a part of the Crazy Ant family now. So anything we can do to help get the word out there about the mission and what you guys are trying to do, dude, open invite. You're always welcome to come and just talk with us and just chill out and get it out there, man.
Yes.
Well, awesome. I keep saying I want to go somewhere I can constantly say the word fuck. So now I know where to go.
Exactly, right here on Inside the Crazy Ant
That's
Farm.
right. That's right. And the women will love it. They won't cry here if you say that. They love that. So it's all good.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and thank you, man. Like I said, we're always trying to broaden the horizon and do different things, and we just think this is a really great cause, and you're a really great guy, and we're thrilled that you came on to talk to us today, man.
I appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care now.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So good, man.
Yeah.
So good. Like we said before, it's something we've never done before and just still so damn entertaining.
It really was, and I really like. I mean, so many different approaches that he comes at it. Though it's like, it's my passion, but I can't be too passionate.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a business, and I have to remember that it's a business. And then just all these different aspects of how he's doing it and why he's doing it, and it's really inspiring though to see somebody take a hold of it and say, this is a problem that needs to
Exactly.
be addressed, and I'm going to try to do something about it. So-
Exactly. Just such a great conversation. I'm so glad. I love the story about Kyoko there. Fucking, it's just so good.
Yeah,
So
and the firing. Guys and gals, if you're listening, we are always saying this. Usually everything happens for a reason, right?
Exactly.
And the idea that he got fired right before Christmas and gave the big F you, and moved on to bigger, better things, look at him now. So if a door slams shut on you, man, just give the big F you and move to the next challenge because
Exactly.
it's meant to happen, right? So
Exactly.
just great advice.
seriously. Thank you again, Chad Atkins, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment. Oh, so damn difficult.
Jason.
I know. Shout out to Jason, podcast producer, doing some amazingly hard things. Fucking, I teased it last week with the cult films that I'm a huge gangster movie fan.
Yes.
And so this week it is top 5 gangster films.
Yes.
Damn it.
It was so hard.
It really was,
Oh,
man.
man.
It really was. There's so many that I just wanted to put on here, but just couldn't because we don't have the room or the time. It's
true.
And it's just so damn good. But my number 5 is Last Man Standing. This is a very, very underrated gangster mobster film. It stars Bruce Willis, and it's basically like a gangster western where these motherfuckers are out in like Nevada before Las Vegas and shit, and
Right.
they're just basically trying to colonize. And it's kind of like mobsters in the sense where there's 2 gangs in this western town, and Bruce Willis's character comes and just like plays both of the gangs against each other, basically works for both parties and fucks everything up. But it's a really good movie, man. It's really underrated. Not a lot of people know about it, but Last Man Standing. Be sure to watch it.
There you go. My number 5 is the star you're more than familiar with gangster films. The film you might not have heard of, but it, in my opinion, maybe one of his best roles ever. I'm talking about Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, boy.
The film Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, it's about a Jewish gangster family that, you know, integrated to New York and you know, ran the gambit as a crime family. And then it takes span over 40 years, and it kind of shows you the story of them coming over on their rise to the, you know, being the mob bosses and ruling everything, and then their downfall, and now they're kind of like in their old age now, talking about it all, kind of a thing. But it is one hell of an intense crime drama gangster film, and De Niro is absolutely at his best in this film. I mean, can you have a crime family or gangster film without De Niro?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying, it's check it out if you haven't seen it. Once Upon a Time in America, really good.
Definitely, definitely. Well, my number 4 is Waist Deep, starring Tyrese Gibson. This one's basically all about a guy who is trying to get out of the life, and then freaking he was just on his way home from a freaking day at work as a security guard, and he gets carjacked basically with his son in the back seat. He doesn't give a fuck about the car, but the whole time this is about getting his son back, and like it's just crazy, man. The Game is in it, the rapper The Game, and just I love this because to have that bond to try to get somebody like that you love so significantly back in your life, and you don't want anything to happen to them, you don't want anything to harm them, so it's just a really, really good film. Waist Deep, Tyrese Gibson, and Megan Good as well.
I mean, first of all, Megan Good, probably one of the most underrated actresses. I swear to God, she is so good, y'all. That is a like freaking fantastic film. I have a trend going, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. My number 4 is another gangster movie with Bobby De Niro. Goodfellas, with Ray Liotta. And I mean, guys, I think it's hands down, undeniably one of the all-time great gangster films, right? Like, I mean, the one-liners in there and the things that go on in that film, freaking just, like, if we know you've seen it. Just I don't even have to explain the film to you, Goodfellas. It's just, you know why it's on my list. You know why it's a great gangster film. And if you haven't seen it, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the real question.
Goodfellas.
What the fuck?
Goodfellas. All right.
So am I like ha funny, or am I like that kind of funny?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. I mean, come on.
I know.
Come on. All right.
So funny, so funny. Only that movie can make Joe Pesci be like the hard ass fucking busting people's balls.
That's
and
right.
shit.
That's
like,
right.
so
Like
good.
that's another guy. Can you do a gangster movie without Pesci?
I know.
I don't know. At least an Italian or a Jewish mafia type gangster movie.
Exactly.
I think it's a rule. Like,
yeah, you have to put that motherfucker.
It's got to be Bobby De Niro or Joe Pesci or both.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. Exactly. My number 3 is The Departed. Multiple reasons. Everybody knows that it was on my cop.
What is with you in that word today,
I don't
man?
know.
I don't
My
know.
cop thrillers list. And then, of course, Mark Wahlberg. Leo, everybody knows, one of my all-time favorite actors. Jack Nicholson. And loosely based on Whitey Bulger. We went back and did the research. It's true. You were right. And so it was just such a good movie, guys. Such a good movie about basically the parallels of growing up in a place like Boston, whether you're either going to be a gangster or you're going to be a cop, and just the way they played everything. Just an absolutely brilliant movie. Martin Scorsese, one of his finest, and just amazing. So good, so good. Check it out.
I can't argue with any of that. It's boy, my favorite thing about these top 5s over the past few weeks is the content that are on these lists.
Yeah.
Is amazing, guys. If you like, go watch all of them.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, I'm gonna step away from De Niro for a minute.
No way.
I got to step away from De Niro for a minute because not all gangsters are mafia, right? Like, so I'm gonna jump into the hood. Boys in the Hood is on my list.
Yes.
John Singleton, just a masterpiece by a master director, John Singleton. Morris Chestnut, Ice Cube, Lawrence Fishburne, just like all these fucking amazing people about coming up in the hood and being trapped in gangster life and trying to work your way out of it. And it's an epic telling of, unfortunately, things I feel like that are still going on. At the top of the show, we're talking about the murder, of rappers. And like, this is hardcore, guys. And I think this is a eye-opening, stark reality look at life in that type of a neighborhood and what people are forced into sometimes not by choice.
Exactly.
And so it's a deep character study about, life in the hood and coming up that way. So Boys in the Hood. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor by, like I said, just a brilliant film by the late John Singleton. And yeah,
So good.
it's so good.
Definitely.
Watch it, guys.
Definitely. And my number 2, a highly underrated freaking gangster film, Public Enemies.
Yes.
Johnny Depp
Yes.
as John Dillinger. Just an epic ass fucking bank robber, and nobody really knows if that was. It's kind of like a Kennedy situation. Nobody really knows if that's the real John Dillinger that died. But
It's true.
It was just such a good movie, and our buddy Spencer Garrett.
Yes, I was
fucking
just about to say that.
In that movie,
Because he's in everything.
he's in freaking everything. But Public Enemy is such a good movie. Definitely, I remember going to watch it in the theaters, and it's definitely one that I will remember forever. And the theatrical experience is needed for movies like this.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes.
And yes.
Spencer Garrett, Johnny Depp, all you need to know.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Brilliant film. Okay, I'm getting back on the De Niro train. Okay, I'm back to Bobby. All right. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. I am jumping in. My number 2 is The Untouchables.
It's a great one.
The great one. Elliot Ness, Al Capone. I mean, fucking Kevin Costner and De Niro, and Sean Connery.
Yeah, buddy.
Enough said.
Enough said.
Have you seen this film? Have you fucking seen this film? Like, if you haven't, what?
Exactly.
It's a brilliant, brilliant masterpiece of a gangster film about the takedown of Capone and Elliot Ness's rise in the FBI. Do yourself a favor. Watch it.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's good. I mean, you mentioned Kevin Costner, Bobby De Niro, and Sean Connery. You shouldn't have to say anything else.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right.
Well, my number 1 is a movie that I just cherish because it's so damn good, and there's so many great actors in it. Mobsters. Freaking about Lucky Luciano,
Yes.
Bugsy Siegel, Meyer Lansky, and Frank Costello, all growing up in the gang. And, we got Christian Slater. We got freaking Rodney Eastman, who played fucking, oh boy, I believe Bugsy Siegel.
Yep.
And Costas Mandylor as Frank Costello. But, guys, you know who played Meyer Lansky?
Who?
Patrick Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey played Meyer Lansky and a gangster movie. So this is by far my number 1 gangster film. Boom.
And if I had to say it, if you're talking about all-time gangster movies with the best hair,
All-time gangster
this
movies.
one would have to be it.
This is the best one. Be sure to watch this shit. It's so damn good. And Patrick Dempsey did a great job portraying Meyer Lansky, and Christian Slater did a great job portraying Lucky Luciano.
Yeah.
It was so damn good.
Speaking of another underrated actor.
Yeah.
Christian Slater.
Oh, I
It's just
thought you
a
were gonna say
brilliant
Patrick
guy. No, God,
He is underrated.
I wouldn't
He
be able.
is
I wouldn't be able to
underrated.
get out of here if I said that. I mean, I can't attack his man crush. I said he had great hair. Okay,
He
all
does.
right. I do like Patrick Dempsey, guys. I love Patrick. He's good. And kudos to you. I just want to say this is brilliant because you actually put together a top 5 about gangster films, and you actually found 5 without De Niro.
Exactly. Thank you.
My list
I know.
is continuing the trend because my number 1 is the Godfather trilogy,
Yeah.
of which Bobby is in.
He is
because can you do a gangster film without De Niro? No! The answer is no! So, all kidding aside, though, I mean, can you have a list of all-time gangster films and not include The Godfather?
Right.
It's the epitome of gangster films.
Exactly.
It's the gangster film of which all gangster films come from. Like, three,
Yeah.
1 and 2, yeah, but
Fucking
3,
great.
yeah. But 1, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's not just one of the best gangster films of all time, just one of the best films of all time. I mean, so Francis Ford Coppola and just
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And there it is. But yeah, kudos. You like found 5 without De Niro.
Exactly.
De Niro's coming for you. It's
Oh,
all right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to put Goodfellas up there, but you got done with your list first.
I know. Well, yeah.
You know.
That's like when you snag my 80s movies.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
son of a bitch.
Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Now it is time for the box office recap. Oh, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, especially with the theaters reopening.
Yep.
The predictions will be coming back soon, so stay tuned for that. Number 5 this week was Made in Italy, that brought in 21,000. Number 4 was The Big Ugly, that brought in 24. First one was 21,000. The second one's 24,000.
There you go.
The third one is The Rental with 78,000. Number 2 was The Tax Collector, Shia LaBeouf's one, with 204,000. And number 1, SpongeBob the movie.
Sponge on the run.
Sponge on the run.
He's a sponge on the run.
Oh,
If that's not in there, epic fail, guys. That's all I'm saying. It should have
Right.
been. It should have been.
hell yeah.
Almost $1 million.
Almost.
You were
Right
saying
there.
which film would be the first film to crack the $1 million without being able to be full theatrical release? Almost SpongeBob.
Almost SpongeBob.
Almost.
Damn. But now it is time for the IMDb Pro trending segment.
Yes.
You guys know we love this app. It's basically where we get all of our industry news from, where we track people, where we reach out to guests. We don't like track people, hunt them down.
We are
Like,
tracking you. We are
Right.
looking for you.
Like-
We're like the new FBI. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
you know. Oh my goodness. But so much great stuff on this app, guys. If you're an up and comer in any part of the entertainment industry, you need this app.
That's right.
The top trending movie is by no surprise Project Power.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx's latest one on Netflix. Be sure to check that out. And the top trending TV show is still The Umbrella Academy. It's rocking and rolling,
Yep.
getting a lot of publicity right now. And the top trending star is Aiden Gallagher
From the Umbrella Academy.
from The Umbrella Academy.
We know that because we used IMDb Pro.
That's right. It's the Bible.
The Bible.
Oh man, it's been a great show. Episode 126 has been amazing, and a huge part of that has been our guest, Chad Atkins,
Yes.
for coming on to talk about his nonprofit organization and talking about all that he does for California and making Ventura County a no-kill county and working to make California a no-kill state.
Yes.
So he's doing some amazing things. Be sure to follow him.
And educating the youth.
Exactly.
Because that's what it's all about, guys. You got to start young and educate and get those people involved in these type of things. And thanks, dude, for like sharing that awesome story about Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah, right?
That was really fucking hilarious.
It was.
But that was good. That was good stuff.
Definitely. And, of course, you can follow us on social media, anywhere you have social media, at Crazy Ant Media. Be sure to follow the company profile. Be sure to follow the podcast, ItCap Podcast, everywhere and anywhere. We have started a branch off of ItCast Podcast behind the scenes. It's on YouTube. Be sure to check it out. Be sure to follow us both personally on social media because we have a lot of opinions on things. Myself at JLoFantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. And you guys know you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, do all those amazing YouTube things that you love to do. And of course, if you want to start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear, be sure to head over to our website, crazyantmedia.com, where there's just so much great stuff. Our new merch up like literally every month. Be sure to get your honorary Crazy Ant shirts. Be sure to get Hands Down shirts. Be sure to get Hell Yeah shirts. There's so much, guys.
There's so much.
Something for everybody.
You know what I'm going to do? It would be absolutely epic, and I can't help it, but I just want to do it. It would be absolutely epic if we could get Anita Ward to come do this part of the show where she says, ring that bell.
I know, right?
You know, you can ring my bell. Remember that? It would be epic for her to tell you to ring the... I'm sorry, it just popped in my head. It's like, is Anita Ward available to tell you to ring the bell?
know.
I got to make that happen.
So good, man. So good. But I got to say, my favorite part of ItCaf 126 has been probably the top 5 because those are always so damn fun. But, I mean, gangster film, that's my niche. So I just love that's my favorite genre ever. Even Sean Penn's one that he did a couple years ago that was, I mean, it was still pretty good. But, I mean, of course, Patrick Dempsey. Of course. That's a huge part of it. So.
Anytime he can work in Dempsey. That's how it never goes away.
You know.
It never goes away.
Yeah.
It's fine, though. I gotta say, I agree. I loved the top 5, but I'm just gonna be honest because since birth, comic geek,
Right.
And so my favorite part of the show is obviously talking about DC fandom and all of the epicness of all of the Batman shit and the potential for the Flash movie.
Yeah, man.
And all that kind of stuff. I'm super stoked, and so I can just tell everybody right now because you know who else is part of the DC fandom coming up and everything? Lucifer. And so I'm going to be spending my entire weekend binge watching the entire season 5 of Lucifer and watching fandom.
That's right.
Oh, don't look at me. Don't look at. I'm a geek, and I have the right to be geek all weekend. That's all I'm saying.
You're watching the video, but don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Fucking ring the bell. Don't look at me. Just don't do it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, you know who is also probably a big DC fandom fan.
Oh, you know she is.
And she should definitely be Martha Wayne in the next Batman adaptation.
Oprah!